wasn't like the play-based. And this year I have very little behaviors. I can trust my kids. It's a very welcoming and loving community in my classroom and in Miss Bateman's classroom. Our kids they come in and out. Like her kids will come into my classroom showing me work that they've done and explaining it to me and using complete sentences, which is one of the big things in kindergarten that we're trying to get them to do, is speaking clearly. And it's just an amazing difference compared to last year to this year. And my kids, their vocabulary has increased so much. And just their thinking also, like their in-depth thinking, like when they're in the block station, some of the things that I see them doing, they're using all these vocabulary words that they're learning from each other. And if they have questions, they're curious and they're asking me. So just having that communication with them and that conversation with them is the biggest piece of why I support this, because I had a little girl at the beginning of the year.
It's not about playing; it's about real, relevant, and meaningful. Mm-hmm. So everything they do, the classroom, there's a reason why things are set up the way they are. It's not just here's some blocks, but there's paper, there's pencils, there's letters, there's numbers, there's sharing, there's language. So this is
whenever, I think it was voting time, and I read a story about like the White House and everything. And in my block station, I have pictures of like buildings from around the world. And my one little boy found a picture of the White House. He goes, "Oh my gosh, that's where the president lives!" And so they got really excited and they wanted to build it in our block station. So they went ahead and got the picture, and they're like using all the materials in our block station to build it.
Have you grabbed your people?
Oh yeah. And then these are like, they use them in the block station.
So they're themselves.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
So they are in the White House, the kids in the block area.
Yeah. And my kids actually started taking them and using them as like game pieces. So we just did a game today, and they're like, "Well, we don't have any like game pieces. Why don't we just use our bodies?" So they went in and they got those and just started playing with them and everything, and they had a fun time with that. And I actually was kind of like the block station. I had some kids that were going there all the time, and they might have needed some literacy. So Isala told me to put some language in it and literacy and letters and stuff. So then that's what I started doing, and I found those kids actually have been increasing in their letters and sounds, and just going in there and having conversations with them about the letters.
So you go in there
to
the block area,
and
you
support so I interact with them, and I ask them questions, or I just have a conversation with them about what they're doing and what they're thinking, just trying to get them to think about what they are doing and how to put it in words to communicate with other people. This was funny. It started raining at recess, but it wasn't pouring. It was just sprinkling. And
it's kindergarten, so you stay outside.
The little girls, they made like a little house, like a little fort, and then they were like cooking in it. So just using their imagination.
And this is one of my, I don't know if it will click. You can go ahead and hit it. This is kindergarten. This is one of my lower students. I have children that were constantly asking us for paper and pencils and crayons at recess. And so we immediately called our administration and said, we need a table outside. And within 10 minutes, they delivered us a table, and we put a box of crayons and papers outside. And behind them, I don't know if you can see the blue wall, but that blue wall has the teachers' names, and it has the sight words of the week. And this is literally how many kids are at the writing table during recess time. This is what they want to do during playtime. And, that's pretty cool.
That is. Which they just completed a grant for a kindergarten playground, so we're hoping we get accepted. We get that. But if you go to their playground, it is the most creative hodgepodge, whatever, because 1 week, well, it's about 2 weeks, we just had cardboard boxes out there.
And Miss Klein moved.
Yeah, and the kids were just so creative. I mean, they come up with all kinds of different things. We finally had to throw them away because they were just in a million pieces. But we have noodles out there. They have stumps. They have tires.
Yes.
I mean,
they cut the tree down behind our classroom, and it was all these stumps.
So
and I was like, how do I get the stumps? I was like, oh my gosh. And the custodians were like, you want the stumps?
And we're like,
I was like, yes.
We do. So,
I do.
So our next
how many of them? All of them.
All of them.
He's like, I can't give you all of them. And I'm like, I want all of them.
Maybe for a little nuts. But we, it's just amazing to see all the creativity and the things that they do with those things outside.
this is our take apart lab. And I found a robot at Goodwill for a couple bucks. And right now the hardest part is we can't get deep enough into the screws. But I mean, they love putting on the goggles and using the real tools to actually get in there and play and take things apart, see how it works. And so, during our project approach, it's all about project-based learning and tying standards into things that the kids want to know about. Pizza is served every Friday at our school. Pizza is a big deal to kindergarten. And so we did a whole entire project based on pizza, shapes about pizza. We did counting with pizza. And one day Cyrus was in the cooking area and he was making pizza. And he was like, Miss Bateman, we need a pizza oven because he didn't have anywhere to cook his pizza. So we went online and we talked about what kind of oven he wanted. And then he found a box and he brought it over. And so we worked together to cut out. And then on the inside, you can't really see it, but you can see shapes in the back.
Yeah.
But he had made flames because the pizza oven have fires in there. And then now he puts it in. And now his next thing is he has to make the big spatula that goes in the wooden spatula. And so now he's just looking for the right materials to make his. He is very happy with his oven. We have student jobs in the classroom. Everybody has a job to do. Everybody has it for about a week, and then their job is to share with the next kid, the next student coming up the next week, what their job is. And in this picture, she's actually cutting out all the leaves that are dead so that the plant can thrive, and then they water them every week. We have animals that are random. We even had a bird die, but they were okay with it. I thought, oh gosh, the bird died. And sure enough, they were like, that's cool. Can we pet it? And I'm like, I guess, go pet the dead bird and then go wash your hands. So it was something that they'd never probably get to pet a bird. And so they got to pet a bird. And, it's just very real for them and just, awesome. The language. And now, someone will come in like, I thought you had 2 birds. And the kids are like, no, he died. And so the fact that they're able to understand that process that happens.
And their jobs are more than just like the line leader, all of those ones that we all know. These ones we're using like real jobs. So the botanist would be for the plants. So then they're getting that vocabulary that they've probably never heard of. Zoologists for animals if they're taking care of them.
I think the biggest one too for my class was the nurse. And the boys were like, I can't be a nurse. And why can't you be the nurse? Well, because the nurse is a girl. Well, actually, no, nurses are boys and girls. And so now someone is in charge of band-aiding children. Like, that is their job, is to put band-aids on. In fact, I wish I would have put the picture. One of my students fell the other day, but they couldn't get his pant leg rolled up to get a band-aid on it. And so I took a picture. They actually put the band-aid on the pant leg, on the outside, and then he ran off and played, and he was perfectly fine. So I took a picture because I was like, it doesn't matter where you put the band-aid. Just put a band-aid on it. So I thought that was pretty clever.
And then I give them some time on Fridays to just take a book or take their sight words and go wherever they want around the room. And then at first I was like, I don't know if they're really going to read. But then I walk around and some of them are grabbing their sight word sticker books where they're practicing their sight words, which is on the wall over there. And then they're actually working with each other and practicing their sight words. And then I have other kids that are grabbing stuffed animals and reading to the stuffed animal or having the stuffed animal read to them. So just getting them in that and where they're comfortable. They really will do the work if they're in an environment that they love and that they feel comfortable in and loved.
We actually had well-managed classroom today, and the teacher that was in our room doing our well-managed class, she goes, there's not enough seats for all your kids. I said, I know, because they just kind of sit wherever they need to sit when they're feeling comfortable. If we're doing writing and they want to lay on their belly to do their writing, that's where they lay. If they want to sit in the big comfy chair and do their writing, it doesn't really matter. They can go wherever they need to. She said, well, you guys serve breakfast. And I'm like, well, some sit at the table and some sit on the floor and some don't have breakfast. So they kind of do what they need in the space in their area.
Well, and you kind of played around with it at the beginning because this was our first year. So we had a lot of seating and we had taken the legs off of lots of tables to do some different flexible seating and then found out that there was just too much. So
start taking furniture out.
Started taking things out. So our custodians aren't always happy, but that's all right. We were just like, okay, we need that out like in 10 minutes.
This
isn't going to work for us. This doesn't work for us, so we're going to try something different. So,
our word balls, they are magnetic, so the kids are able to take them down, put them up. Some kids just like to go up and point to what word they need next, and some of the kids like to pull them off. It kind of just depends on the kids and what they want and what they need from the word wall. Some of them are still just matching the fact that the beginning letter is O and putting it back in the O section. So everyone kind of is at their own level, but the word wall is actually right where they sit to do their writing and their journaling, and then they can actually climb up on the table because the high ones are pretty high. You can see you can't really reach it, but they know they're allowed to climb up on the table carefully, one child at a time, and pull off the words that they need. So like things like that, things that I never would have allowed before. You know, it's kind of like, why? Well, you're going to allow him to climb the table? Yes, because he knows the rules. He knows
it's
safety.
Yeah.
And like they're very safe. It's kind of amazing. Like we use push pins for things, and you know, you would never want to give a kid a push pin or a stapler, and you have to give them the rules once, and then we just explain that if you don't use them correctly, I'm going to take them back. And the kids are like, shoot, we don't want her to take them back. You know, and you know, just little things like today, I put new markers out. And they were like, I thought you said you weren't going to get us new markers. And he said, I said I wasn't going to get you new markers if you didn't take care of them. But you've taken care of the markers and they dry up. It's halfway through the year. You know, of course you can have new markers. And they were like, oh, we took care of them. And so those are the rules in our classroom that we actually took. We take care of ourselves, we take care of each other, and we take care of our stuff. And so it's literally, you can hear them telling each other that, take care of yourself. You know,
once they know that you trust them, they're actually very careful with all of our materials.
Yeah.
I had one little boy who accidentally broke something, and everyone was like, oh no, we're not going to be able to use it anymore. You have to be careful. But it was an accident. We talk about how, you know, sometimes something might break, but it's an accident. So just having that, instead of like sitting there and yelling at them, just telling them, you know what, it happens. That's what happens. I make mistakes all the time. And just getting them to just trust, like knowing that we trust them, that they care about that a lot.
The honesty too, I think that plays in that, because they're kind of like, well, you know. We have water, steam at our school, and at the beginning of the year, we had these beautiful tables that were sand tables.